Open-handed drumming is the future. So let's get you pushing your evolution, living your ultimate potential and possibility through drumming, and let's become our best selves through drumming. That's what LTR means, life through rhythm.
My own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
The person we become is the drummers we express ourselves on this instrument. So life is drumming and drumming is life. So let's live confidence through this instrument and let's be 1% better every day. And we're gonna get there through open-handed drumming. This is the future. Let's forget crossing. Let's push this instrument forward and ourselves forward by leaving our comfort zone. So let's get you some quick wins today and start pushing the evolution forward and to really live this in drumming. To be open-handed, first of all, think of it as open-hearted. So just hold your hands like this right now and just feel the strength of that body language right now. Who we are with our ultimate confidence comes out in how we move our bodies. So that's why we like to say, how you move is how you groove. So motion creates sound, and our sound creates our self-expression. Our fingerprint is magic, and it comes out through our voice on the drums. And we're gonna get there through open-handed drumming. So you can see this body language here. My heart is open, my chest is out, and I've got my left side zone. So I've got all these sounds to express myself here. And I've got my right side zone, anything I want. So I've got some toms, and I have usually on my other set, I have a snare here. Man, you can have cowbells, just China cymbals, just any kind of sounds you want, all laid out in front of you. When we cross, you can see my body language isn't as open. I can't get around this set as much, and it's just not living up to our potential. And especially if you have any young drummers in your life, get them open right away. And we underestimate our potential and what the human brain and body is capable of, and the heart of self-expression. So I've seen like young kids, when they click, they're like, oh, okay, left side zone. Oh, okay, right side zone. It's like, no problem. And then if you choose to cross, it's like your technique is there, and then you can go right back to that unlimited self-expression. And that's what really this is all about, taking away the ceiling, stripping away any limits. So let's get you there today. So as much as you can go into this, push yourself. I went 1% first, then I went about 10%, then I went about 20%, and I was like at 50, and then eventually I just went all in. And that was when my growth really happened. When we disrupt ourselves, we reinvent ourselves, we leave our comfort zones, that's when we push our own evolution and the evolution of the instrument forward. And that's what I want for you. So when I went all in, and that's really what it is, like I call it breaking the board. If you can think like a martial arts, you know, when they go through that big piece of wood or big piece of ice and their hand is going down through it, there's no self-doubt there. It is 1,000% confidence, all in, and that's when the impact happens. So what I did was I took a hacksaw, and you can kind of see this a little bit here, and I sawed off the rod, and I even sawed off the bottom part of the hi-hat here, so it was about the same level as my snare. And then I just got two hi-hats, so you can see I have one on either side, and two ride cymbals. And now I have no limits. So I can go over here, and everything that I learned to play cross, now I just go over here. And there are some drummers that do this. Danny Carey from Tool, Kenny Aronoff, Chris Slade, who played with AC/DC. They all have they actually don't play with their left hand. They just put their stuff on their right, and they just did away with the crossing. So any way that you have to do it. For me, I took that hacksaw. I remember taking my ride and moving it over to my left side for months. And just like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone. Because I had about 17 years cross. Because I had like a traditional type teacher, and he was like, just do it this way because this is the way we've always done it. And that way of thinking is what we're breaking past today. That's where mediocrity lives. That's where the death tradition lives. And we are smashing that. And that's how evolution happens. And that's where potential and possibility lie. Not in your comfort zone, not in the dead classical mess of tradition. It's in breaking past all that in simplicity and moving forward. So we're going to do it with open-handed drumming. Now, let's give you some wins today on what I call ones and twos. Now, we'll approach this just with the hi-hat, snare, and bass drum. So like kick, snare, hats, that's the nucleus of the drum set. And we'll start with that, and then you can build from there. I have a whole system. We can go into fills and stuff. Right now, we'll just get you started off there. Now, we'll think of the connective tissue of a groove as like the typical, what we call an eighth note groove, or like, I call them go-round grooves. So you know them. So those beats we're gonna work with today. Now, what I'm gonna call ones is just a single note played on or off the beat. That's it. So we're going to just think of that as one. And we're not going to be counting today, and we're not going to be reading. We're going to just be singing and thinking of building blocks that we can improvise with and express ourselves with and really get into flow and just not be stuck in our heads overthinking and overcomplicating everything. Simplicity is what we're going for. Simple is not easy, but that's what we're going for today. So a one is just gonna, not the beat one, it's just gonna be a single note played on or off the beat. So if I'm playing eighth notes with my hi-hat, any of those I could play on the beat or in the middle. Okay, so I'm just gonna play some on the beat and then some in the middle. But as you play along with me, remember they can be anywhere. You can put a bass drum on the beat anywhere or in the gap. I like to call it a gap note. So let me play some eighth notes and some bass drums on the beat, some off the beat. So that's the first step. So just you got that. This may be your weaker side. For me, my left hand is my weaker side. So just get those eighth notes going automatically. Now you notice I can just talk to you and keep that going. Okay, so that's the goal. Now you could do this, of course, both sides, but I'll just stick to my left hand here. But for you, it doesn't matter. It could be your right. Let's just keep it going. Now twos also could go on the beat or off the beat. So if I go on the beat, it would go like this. Off the beat. Now, of course, we could do all this for the snare as well, right? So if I'm just, again, get those going, forget about it. Just try to go into autopilot. Now, notice my hand grip, by the way. We start this as our default natural position. And just as I go to the set, you notice my hands just naturally go a little bit more thumbs up, which we call the French grip. If you haven't heard that before, don't worry about it, but call that the French grip, go into a thumbs up position. And this is called a German grip, going palms down. So on my snare, I'm going to be this, but as I go to my hi-hat, since I'm playing open-handed, I'm just going to think of naturally going out like that. So it's just a good way to start. So you can see, yeah, my hand position on my hi-hat. You can play around with different ones, but I find this really feels good. Now on the snare, so on the beat, just any of them could be on that hi-hat. And of course in between. Now you notice I'm not counting this. I'm not stuck reading in a book, and I know sometimes it helps to see it. I'm a visual person. I do sometimes like to see it on a page, and we do need to count sometimes. But I'm just thinking on the beat or off the beat. Now same with the doubles. On the beat would be off the beat. Now, that's going to be the building blocks of groove. So if you want to go deeper into this, connect with me at chrislesso.com. It's too much to go into just in this quick video, but I've got a whole course on this and a lot of free training I can send you to get that. So a really quick guide you can get is chrislesso.com/OHD, open-handed drumming. chrislesso.com/OHD, and I'll get you the guide and you can start off with this. But just with those building blocks, practice them, and right there's so much that you can construct, because these are the building blocks of groove. So I'll just play a groove, and I can even use a loop here. And I'll play along and start to see if you can recognize some of the building blocks. That is painfully slow, but you get start slow, and having a loop like that is good just to get each one. So if I'm just playing slow, okay, here's like a single note on the beat. I remember at first my left hand and right foot did not want to go together. They were like kind of flamming and off the beat like that, and not fun. Now, yeah, but after a while it'll come. So a little faster might be like this. So much fun. And all I'm thinking there is like ones and twos, really, those building blocks. And I've spent the time, by the way, I've earned it. I didn't just like ones and twos and just do that. I remember I had to, just as I showed you today, I had to just like get used to that left, because I was used to this, right? So I had to just get really used to that on autopilot and just get the singles, then in the gap, and then the twos on the beat and off the beat. And same with the snare, and eventually it started to come. And of course I was playing with songs. And okay, now last thing today, I'm going to leave you with a little more advanced version. Now, if you know hand technique, we're kind of using my wrist. Every stroke is the same there, but you notice there's something called pumping motion, which I'm using a little bit of a whip, a little bit of momentum. So now I'm starting to get like a little bit of an accent there, which you probably are naturally doing a little bit when you play. So that would look like this. So I remember my first grooves, which I played cross, I was just kind of naturally pumping that hand. It wasn't just like that with just the wrist. So this becomes this. So I'm trying to get that on autopilot, that like pump there. And this is a technique thing, so you may or may not be ready for this, but just getting the gist of it can help you a lot. And it can, and the same things would apply. So if you're ready, get that added kind of wave motion there. And same thing. So the single notes, the ones in between. So that might look like something like this. This is kind of like when you're ready and you earn that muscle memory in that hand, that might look like this. So I'm playing off the beat. I'm doing a lot of different, I have total freedom, which I had to earn day after day of just slowly going through the exercise I'm showing you. But eventually this went on its own, and I was able to just play rhythms around it. And yeah, anywhere in the gaps, and it was just, so that's something to shoot for when you go to open. So first it's gonna be like just getting that wrist only, and eventually that kind of wave motion will give you like, just push the beat forward. Now, of course, you can take that and flip it on the off beats. So this is like almost like a disco type groove. So that would be like this, 1 and 2. So instead of da 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 3 and 4, now it's just starting with the up, and the wave is kind of on the middle beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now this is a little bit different coordination, but eventually it's the same motion. You're just kind of moving it over one. So that might look like this. So have fun. And I know that's a lot compressed in a short time. That really took me like, years actually to get totally comfortable with it. But I wish I had a clear roadmap like I showed you today. Just start, get this automatic, just those wrist strokes. Very comfortable with that. See, I'm starting here, just there. And get the 1s and 2s. So the 1s on the beat. Breathe, smile, have fun in the gap. And then the 2s on the beat, on the gap. And then of course the same thing would get with the snare. And if you just have the 1s and 2s, everything will start to become alive. And that's something, and that's like, it could be a good solid year to just work on that one concept. But when you come out the other end, your expression and possibility and potential will be at the next level. So I hope this gets you started with open-handed drumming. There are all kinds of other ways to go about it. Really, the really best way at first is like, just get out of the crossing. Get your position like this. For me, it was get that left hand on the hi-hat and just, whoa, and just kind of start. And you'll start to, use the sounds in front of you and be creative. There's things like playing a paradiddle and stuff. There's, incorporating the toms. I'll get into these in other lessons. Connect with me at chrislesso.com And for your free open-handed drumming guide, I want to send it to you, chrislesso.com/OHD. chrislesso.com/OHD. That stands for open-handed drumming. So I'll send you the free guide and just get this in your playing. Remember, the future of drumming is open-handed, and I want you to live your future of evolving into your best self through drumming.